like get there in order to feel that confident to believe in yourself again, because you get broken down so much. You don't know, you're so used to everybody else and everybody's else, whatever's getting fed into you from your environment and what's been programmed into you. That's what's making the decisions for you. That's what's making you believe things. Your success is defined by your experience, all of that, right? So then all of a sudden you're like stubborn and you're trying to figure it out. It takes a lot of courage, y'all, to believe that what you're seeing, thinking, and feeling is actually happening. Because let me tell you, it ain't physically in front of you. It is in here and in here.
That heart space.
100%. There's no 99.
You talked about vulnerability. And one of the things that I really teach people is how to get back into their heart space.
Yeah.
Because we're all good at giving love, but none of us were raised to understand how to receive love.
Yes.
Not one of us, right? And that heart space is what started to make me realize really how to feel deeper, because I was, like you talked, it's not just men. My parents were very cold, like, suck it up. Why are you crying? Knock it off.
Yep.
So when I grew up, and then I grew up, of course, being in a ghetto, you got to
sure. Then you have to be extra tough.
You cannot
fight for your own rights and your
meds. Fucking crying every day. You got to suck it up and fucking, do what you got to do. And then I lost my first child at 15. That set me down a different path of darkness. And then I became a single mom, a couple years later. Then by my 20s, I was a single mom. And that brought another, I got to be strong. I got to be strong.
Sure. Because you have to live for other people and you have to.
And I was the kind of anchor for the family, our little family.
Sure.
And then it was like everyone always needed me. And then here we go again. I can't break down. I got to hold my shit together.
Sure.
I got to make this shit look good. And I went through 30-something years of that until finally it was like, I'm a fucking mess inside.
I totally can relate. In my own world, I can relate. In a completely different life, completely different story, but I can relate. So one of the things that Ariana and I talked about when we briefly just started to connect is that we feel like we're on the same timeline. So I just want to make this very clear. You can have completely different lives and still arrive at the same experience.
Right.
And that is 100% what's going on between the two of us, is we have had completely different lives and I've arrived at a very, very, very mirrored experience.
Right.
And I can say this, all that matters is that you get there. How you get there, it doesn't really, it's a part of it. But you can get really sucked up as you're getting into that heart space because you're blind, right? So everybody's got childhood trauma at this point. Everybody's got something. Pain is also relative. So when people are learning how to receive love, it is something I have thought my whole life. I actually got a tarot card tattooed on the back of my hand. I got the Ace of Cups.
I love it. I love it.
And for me, it's I am love, I give love, I receive love.
Right.
So I did not do that until a couple of years ago, till I was ready, because I understand what you're saying about vulnerability. You can be the most loving, giving, best mom, hardworking, whatever. But if you can't take a compliment and you can't receive help and you can't feel safe asking for help, you've got a serious problem.
Yep.
It is a trust issue with the world. Yep. It's a trust issue with your soul. It's a trust issue with God.
Yep. Yep.
That will block all of your vulnerability, take you away from your heart space. And that's when you realize, 25 years old, that you're a freaking mess. And I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I manifesting all these stupid people? All these, nothing. It feels like nothing is working out for me. But that can also be a catalyst, a major catalyst for all of the things. I mean, for me, learning how to receive love, I'm still doing it. I have such a hard time. Like, I feel like that's the entire soul's journey, is to like learn how to receive more love. Like,
I think last year, just started accepting compliments.
Oh, it's so hard.
And I had to keep telling myself, just stop fucking, just accept it. Just shut the fuck up and listen. And then someone will say,
so hard. So that's that higher self being like, shut up, listen.
I'm like, okay, I take it in. Thank you. Thank you.
I think we're also raised. I mean, we can even back backtrack it a little bit to false information and propaganda and things like that, because we're fed a bunch of stuff to make us believe a lot of things in order to get to do a lot of things and do a lot of stuff. And some of that is good and some of that is bad and some of that is neutral, all kinds of stuff, right?
Right.
But when you are listening to other people and they use those things to get what they want rather than it be authentic, it can cause a soul to be really, really, really shut down from receiving love. I think that's the root for most people that I've met, is somewhere in their experience, whether it's this life or the past, they were shown some sort of kindness that backfired, that did not, it was used for something that wasn't so high vibration, and that will cause you to not want to receive love.
Right.
And so you have to trust it's a faith thing.
It's the fear to get broken.
It's so scary.
If you've been really crushed somewhere in your life,
yes,
you will go through a long period of time of not ever wanting to feel that pain again. And unfortunately, my experience was when I was 15. I've done a lot of healing with my 15-year-old self, sitting with my 15-year-old self up until the beginning of this year, where finally I got her to smile.
Good for you.
Which was, she used to just look at me like, no, it's gonna take more than
a lot more than that to feel.
It's gonna take more than a flower in this meditation to get me to smile. But I understand why. You know what I mean? So
we all have places
whenever I'm
where
talking
we're shut
to someone
down like
on this path, I'm like, you're gonna go through it. You're gonna go through the trenches. It is not going to be pretty because you have to go through layers. That quick fix shit ain't gonna fucking work in this path.
I was just gonna say, like a rose quartz crystal isn't gonna, it's a tool, but it's not going to fix you, y'all. Like there's healing kits that are facilitators, they're tools, right? So we all have a bunch of tools that harness energy and help us remember and all of that. But at the end of the day, it's you. It's you. I love helping people figure that out. Now I'm going to give you another perspective. Okay. So without naming names, I have a client. Don't know who I'm talking about her. And she comes from like kind of a Brady Bunch family, like lots of stepmoms, stepdads, things like that. And a few of her parents are like alcoholics. It's just like really broken situation. And she has a younger stepsister that is identical, like 20 years going through what she went through as a child. And she's seeing it, except for this younger stepsister ain't budging. Like this is not, no growth is happening. She's gonna be a brat. It's gonna be a tough path for her. Right. And my client, she's so mad. She's like, all I want to do is help her. Like, I see all of the repeated things and I just blah, blah, blah. And I just don't understand why she won't listen, right? I know you know where I'm going with this. So I literally was like, yeah, but like, she's not you. And
ding, 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 ding.
Would you be you if you didn't suffer? Right. If you had the help that you wish you would have had, that you could provide, would it have really done you any good? No. Would it? And she was like, I hate it here. Like, like, but it's true. Like,
right.
I'm at a point where I'm not wallowing in my soul's pain like that 15-year-old that you're talking about. You can start to put the pieces together. That's the best part about spiritual work. Just inner child therapy. It doesn't even have to be spiritual. You can just go to therapy and do that work on your child self. Let me tell you, it'll all make sense.
Phenomenal.
It's hard, but it will make sense. I was not meant to have a mother who was open to darkness. I meant to be open to that. She was not. If my mom really faced all of that, I don't know if she would have made it. She wouldn't be the amazing person that she is. I love what my mom sees. I have sometimes I'm like, okay, but most of the time I'm like, I love your perspective. Thank you for reminding me about having faith, receiving love, knowing that you're good, you are smart, you are kind, you're important, you know, things like that. That's all really necessary. If she would have gone down that path that I have gone, where I have looked into the occult, looked into demons, looked all of that, I don't know, she'd be okay. I think she would have summoned some shit she couldn't have handled. So you never know. And that's the truth. My mom was not meant to face those things. It is not part of her life. That doesn't make her less than, worse, spiritual ego again.
Right.
I could sit here and I could judge anybody for not facing those things. Right. What I will do is I will tell you that it is wrong to tell someone that what they're experiencing isn't reality.
Right. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you said that.
Just because you don't see the thing in the corner don't mean that it ain't there. Like,
very real to me in this fucking moment, right?
That is what I'm talking about. When you're 15, you're having a baby and you're going through all that stuff and everything that had brought you to that experience, you lose that child, whatever it is you went through, that will cause you to experience all kinds of stuff. I didn't have that happen. I wasn't you. So I'm not going to be able to say, I see what you see. You had that experience.
Right. Plus that was the house with all the seances.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that.
My baby daddy at the time, my aunt got attacked at that house. There was a lot of shit going on in that house. So my child being born in that house just wasn't the business.
Do you think that there are places, side note, side topic, sidebar. Do you think that there are places that are portals, like portals for all kinds of energy? Like, do you feel like that house was like a portal for spirit?
I feel like that house was opened up. I don't think it just was. I feel like definitely my mom and them, I feel like my mom and them definitely opened up a portal. And again, she's someone who dabbled in darker stuff. She did shit for certain people. She was a lady that people called on, like people knew her. You know how,
I got one of those.
She was very secretive from us, but didn't realize we saw a lot. You know, I was a very curious child. So I was always digging in shit, looking in shit. You know I was very fucking curious. So I was all through the house looking at a bunch of shit, knowing shit I wasn't supposed to know and seeing shit I wasn't supposed to see. But I do feel like in that particular house, it was a portal. And I always tell people the story of what happened because I don't really feel like the child that I had was meant to pass at that time. And I always had the feeling of it, although people would be like, no, it's God's plan and this, that, and I'm like, no, my gut tells me.
No, shit happens that are glitches in the matrix. And there's some shit.
This is what I tell people. The father of that child, we ended up breaking up because he had another child that was born 1 month after my child was born with him. And
scandalous hoe. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it all like real shit. It all came out like the month after. It was about a month after, and then it was like, oh, hey, I have a kid, and it was like, oh, are you fucking kidding me? And we kind of fell out because there was no there was no kind of reparenting after that. The way he did it, it was very shitty as fuck, and it was like my whole world basically crashed down. This man I was all in love with, right? We had a kid dies. All of a sudden, boom, he has another kid, and it's like my whole fucking world is gone. So that, of course, sent me down a path. But like about 1.5 years later, the universe kind of put it together so me and him could come back and I could get my daughter back, which is the daughter I have now, who's 25. And I tell people this story because we would have never come back. Like literally, we did not like each other after that. I did some shit to hurt him after that. I was like, oh, you want to hurt me? I'm going to fucking make sure you feel some shit. So
I don't know anything about that.
And I could be honest, I fucked some people just so he would know. I knew he would know.
I get it.
I knew he would get the message.
I've so been there. I
get it. And it's not a good thing because, of course, it's just like, hey, it is what it is. I was in a very dark
place. It's a learning experience, though. Like
I look at it.
I look at it like back together. That's amazing.
I look at it like this. It's like I was this 15-year-old who lost a child, and no one knew how to help me get any grief counseling or anything. So again, coming up in the hood, no one fucking knows how to do anything. It's just it's normal. Death is just normal. This shit is just normal. Live your life.
It's an accepted reality.
Right.
Suffer and deal with it. Right. You'll get over it. You'll be fine.
So when, I was called a lot of names and I was considered a hoe and all this other shit, instead of like, damn, somebody get this girl some fucking help. This girl is calling for help. This 15-year-old is calling for help, but that's neither nor there. Let's go. So fast forward, my brother and my baby daddy, like a year or two later, get fucking shot together. You know, I'm in a different city. They get shot together. My brother gets shot clear through his shoulder, doesn't hit not one major artery, not one bone, just in and out, right?
What?
Baby daddy got shot in the ass.
I'm telling you, spirit is in control at all times.
Me and him would have never come back together. We did a whole year of not fucking speaking. We barely fucking talked to get our daughter's plaque paid. We barely fucking spoke about that. I was like, you know what? Just talk to my fucking mom. I don't even want to talk to your ass.
Sure.
We barely even spoke about that. So we would have never come back together. It was because my brother got shot with him. They were both in the same hospital together. And my brother was like, he's in like the other room. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You know what I mean? And so then that's how me and him even started talking. But again, we were only meant to come back together so
to have you to bring the baby. So